Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Glad to see y'all.
We can see you.
You can't see me. I didn't know that on my video. I just finished the other meeting, so I'm still thinking I'm showing everything. Okay. How many of you played with collaborative games with us in the previous meeting? Yeah? Cassie, what did you think?
Yeah, it was good. I joined a little bit late though, but I learned a lot. It's different
Good.
from reading something and actually seeing people in teams collaborating is kind of different things. And I also like the fact that we talk also about how the facilitator should be and the skills he or she should have also. It was something that I was kind of curious about. Yeah.
Good. Good. I really think collaborative games is a really valuable tool for us. I'm going to tell you two things about it. First of all, it takes some practice to get good at it. So you have to just pretend like you're good at it and try it a few times and do it. It doesn't have to be at work. You can have collaborative games with your family or, a group of people and just practice collaborative games. But the second thing is there's a game that I'm hearing more and more about. And I almost hesitate to tell you because to me, it's a little bit scary because it makes people have to be a little bit vulnerable, but it's starting a meeting with something called clearing. Clearing is the idea that I have a whole life outside of this, and you want me to come to this meeting and focus on this thing, and I'm distracted by the argument I had or the employee that I'm dealing with or I'm distracted by these things. Clearing is you literally go around the table and every person says, I've had a really hectic morning and I'm frustrated because I've got to get this project done, but for right now, I'm going to focus on this topic. And then the next person goes. And so not only does that allow that person to, if I say it out loud, I don't have to keep thinking about it a little bit. And it's a commitment to focus on this topic, but it's also allowing yourself to be known a little bit more and creating trust with the other people in the meeting, which is a really wonderful thing, but it means that you have to be brave. And not everyone is at that place. There's a book that I love. I love this book. It's called Five Dysfunctions of a Team. If you haven't read Five Dysfunctions of a Team, read it. And I challenge you that as you read that book, if you don't find that you find things about yourself that you can improve. You don't walk in away from it thinking my team needs to fix all these things. You actually look at it and you think, I can fix this about myself. I can be better if I understand this thing. Okay, we've got everybody in. I think maybe a few more. I'm still letting people in. Today we are going to start chapter 4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. I'm so glad to hear it. Okay. Um, the watermark books are probably not been sent out yet. I talked to I sent it's the guy and I don't know why he hasn't sent it out yet. I honestly am not worried about it until we hit chapter 5. So we've got a couple of weeks before then. I mean, that's when you really need it. Right now, the BABOK is really good. So I'm not real upset about it. I mean, I kind of set the expectation earlier, but I'm just giving you a transparent, honest, this is what's going on with it. We will get that taken care of. How many of you have gotten to read all of chapter 4? Couple of you? Okay, that's okay. I encourage you to grab your BABOK, and as you find things that you don't know, mark those sections. I want us to, at the end of this hour and a half, I want you to have a definitive, this is what I need to be studying, or this is an area that I'm not as strong on it as I should be, or I want to be. So grab your BABOK and grab your Post-it notes or something I gotta move this. Michelle, I got this at a convention the other day and I thought of you. It's a little bitty book and it's got all
Oh yeah,
stuff in
I
it.
got one. I
Oh,
got
Oh my
dude,
God,
one.
how cute.
so cute. I was
Oh,
like, what are you, how many notes can you take in that? So
Not a
grab your
lot, but
or whatever and just identify where you need to get it better at. So let me make this a tad bit better. Okay. I realize this is our first time through chapter 4 together. I'm not expecting you to get 100%. I'm not expecting you to have 100% confidence. This is where we find what our gaps are, right?
right.
And those of you who speak up, you're my favorite. I'm going to say it out loud. You're my favorite. Those of you who don't feel like you're able to speak up as much, I still like you a whole lot. Okay. So speak up if you can. Okay, so we are going to talk about the confirm elicitation results task. Before I get started, how many of you know how many tasks are in chapter 4?
There's a lot in that one. Actually, 5. Okay,
There's
5.
five
The
tasks in chapter
techniques.
4.
The techniques are a lot.
There are a lot of techniques in chapter 4. I agree with you. Okay, so which of the following statement best describes confirm elicitation results task? So it's asking you what describes it. So it's going to be the description or the purpose. It's one of those two things it's asking for.
I don't know if you're mean to share, but we're
Yeah.
not seeing anything.
Yeah.
You know what? I was brilliant on my other screen. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, now let's get started. Which of the following statements best describes the confirm elicitation results task? So we know what task it is. To check the information gathered during a elicitation session for accuracy and consistency with other information. To ask stakeholders involved in the elicitation session to review the documented information for accuracy. To compare elicitation results against other elicitation results to ensure consistency, or to document stated information along with stakeholder concerns. Can we eliminate any of these? Now remember, we want to confirm elicitation results. That's the task. Are any of
To
these not
eliminate
about?
C.
We could eliminate C. Yeah.
Yeah, like A2 China.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
China said I like A. I said, yeah, me too.
And I would eliminate D also.
Okay. Why are we eliminating D?
Because confirm elicitation results in BABOK mainly regarding to ask stakeholders to review and confirm that this is the right statements.
Right. And so you would have already documented it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's check A. I heard several of you say A was possibly the answer. This is the description to confirm elicitation results from BABOK. It includes going back to the source of the information for review to ensure accuracy and comparing results against other elicitation results to ensure consistency. So this one trips people up a little bit. So
Comparing.
you had your elicitation, you've talked to the people or observed the process or whatever, and you've documented it. You created your process flow, you created your user stories, whatever. And then you go back and you say, this is what I think I understood. Am I missing anything or did I get anything wrong? You also compare it against everything else that you have. For instance, so sorry. I'm trying to hit admit and the button on the right is remove. And then it says, are you sure you want to remove? No, I don't want to remove. Please let them in. Okay, so you have your results from this stakeholder. It's our job also to compare them against every other requirement that we've received. So to be sure that there's no conflicts, there's nothing that's going to, this has to be done in June, but this can't be done until August, that kind of thing. We got to be sure that we're all on the same page.
Yes, Thea, can you please click on C? I'm sorry.
I can. I'm never upset about clicking on another one. This is a great second choice answer, as it's correct, but only a part of the task description. The BA must also go to the source to review documentation information for accuracy.
Thank you.
Always remember, it's got to be the best answer according to the BABOK. It can be a partial answer. If another one is a better answer, that's the one you've got to choose. Okay, Stacy is working on an IT change initiative, which will replace the current time-consuming process of data transfer from application A to application B by a faster data transfer process. Stacy has been working with the development team to experiment with different data transfer approaches to understand the advantages and disadvantages of various approaches. She will then hold a workshop to share those results with a select group of business stakeholders to get their input on the best approach to use for the solution. Which task is Stacy performing? So of the 5 tasks that's listed, is it define design options, prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, or conduct a proof of concept? Now I realize today's the first day for chapter 4, but do y'all know which of these is not a task in chapter 4?
Conduct a proof of concept.
Yeah.
That is
Even
not
though
a
if
task
I
in
did,
chapter 4.
it seems like it would fit the best, but it's not a task. So
Yeah, and I think
So-
A also is not a task.
You think A is also not a task?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So prepare for elicitation or conduct elicitation. She's working on it.
Conduct.
I would say
Working
conduct.
with the
say
development
C.
team.
I would say C.
Yeah, C, conduct.
Okay, let's test it. Stacy is conducting elicitation through experimentation with the development team and a workshop session with the business stakeholders. Very good.
That's actually kind of annoying because the question talks about everything she does before she actually does the elicitation. So that says prepare to my little pea brain.
If she had not been working with the development team, if she's preparing to work with the development team, I would say it's prepare also. But she's already been working with the development team.
Right.
And
then
that's
she
what
was-
the question asks about. It never says she's actually doing the session. It's all she's getting ready for the session. It's a minor point, but questions like things like this drive me wild about these people's questions.
Okay.
The
Let's move on.
actual test questions, like I say over and over, are better.
The actual test is easier, they're better, but this is what you do to get there. This is going to get the concepts in your mind so that you can apply them to the scenarios. Right, Aaron?
I have a question there, Tia, for Bob on the previous
Yes.
question. Bob, could you just
Okay.
tell me from the previous question, how did you identify she was preparing as opposed to actually doing? I just want to make sure I'm able to identify what you're referring.
She is doing a lot of experimentation, learning about what's going on. Then she will hold a workshop and talk about what the stakeholders want to do. That's in the future. So it's not she is doing elicitation, she is prepping for it.
I got you. I see it. Thank you for that.
So this
That
is the
stuff
sentence that makes me
drives
think.
me bonkers.
This is the
Tia-
sentence that makes me know that she's already in the midst of elicitation. She's been
Yeah.
working with the development team.
But
Since you're on this
here's
topic-
the problem. Elicitation has many facets, right? So she's doing when she's working with the developers and whatever, that's a kind of elicitation, and finding out what the options are, that's a kind of elicitation. But talking about to the business stakeholders to find out what their preferred solution is also elicitation.
Right.
And so which one is the question asking about? It's not clear. It's literally not clear.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Prepare for elicitation is before you begin elicitation. Once you begin elicitation, you continue to prepare for elicitation, but you're in the midst of conducting elicitation. Okay.
Can I
Number
actually ask a follow-up question?
Yes,
So
you can,
this is
Sandy.
something I highlighted and it actually, it goes good with this. On page 59, the
Okay.
very last sentence says eliciting through research and exploration may be a solo activity for the business analyst and not require preparing other stakeholders. So if you're doing research and exploration, does the BABOK say you are actually conducting elicitation, but just with yourself?
Yes. Document analysis is exploration and experimentation. Well, maybe I'm not positive about that term, but yes, you're doing elicitation even if nobody else is participating. I once had a job where I spent 4 months reviewing documents and I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody because they were keeping the project secret. I was doing elicitation, but it wasn't fun. Yes, Bob.
Just between us chickens, I would not call research not involving other people elicitation. I don't care what the BABOK says. Obviously, you have to go with the BABOK. But for me, that is discovery and data collection, and that is conceptual modeling. So that's just me. I'll shut up now.
Okay.
The point is just to give you some grist to think about. I don't need to beat this horse any further.
And Tina, you had said that you're within this particular question, what jumped out to you that said to you that Stacy is doing conducting elicitation as opposed to preparing for it?
This sentence here, Stacy has been working with the development team to experiment with different data transfer approaches. She's already working with them. She's already saying, so what do we need to do? What are our limitations? What are our possibilities?
Ah, so it's the partnership, it's the collaboration that answers that question, conduct elicitation.
To me, it does.
Okay.
If it said she was preparing to work with them, that would be she hasn't started.
Right.
But she's already started.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, question 3. Which of the following are the key inputs required to adequately prepare to elicit requirement information on the project? So key inputs and prepare to elicit requirements. What task are we doing?
Prepare.
Yep. The prepare for elicitation.
Prepare for elicitation. It's asking for key inputs, so that tells us it's asking for what on that task?
Input.
Input.
The input,
Inputs.
right.
Yep.
So we have limited it down to one task and we know it's the input. It can only be one of these answers. So is it the business case and needs, stakeholder engagement approach needs, stakeholder list maps and personas, or solution scope and needs?
B.
B.
Let's test B.
Mhm.
These are correct. Understanding the needs helps the BA understand the scope and purpose of elicitation activities, while the stakeholder engagement approach helps the BA plan appropriate and effective elicitation events. Very good, guys. Okay, next. You're eliciting requirements by analyzing historical data to identify trends. What task are you performing? So it's asking for a task. We talked about there's only 5 tasks in this knowledge area. Which one of these are not tasks in this knowledge area?
A, B, and D.
Confirm elicitation results. Is that not a task?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Data mining. that is not a task. Document analysis, that is not a task. Okay,
So it's
I think that
conduct
D
and
is a
convert.
task.
But verbal
And
elicitation results
C
is
is
a
a
task.
task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we are analyzing historical data, which of these two tasks are we doing?
Conduct. C.
C.
Okay. You're utilizing the research type of elicitation. Elicitation has 3 different types of elicitation. So there's 3. I encourage you to really read what those are and which techniques feed into those, because you can learn what they are a lot easier if you think about the technique that feeds into that. How do you actually conduct elicitation? If it's research, one of them is analyzing historical data. Okay.
So go with the BABOK and ignore Bob.
To pass the test, go with the BABOK. However,
Yeah.
Bob is brilliant and he's got really good data and experience. If y'all haven't checked out his website, it's good stuff. You're eliciting requirements by Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that one. Let's go to this one. Preeti, a business analyst, has been working on a project to develop a footbridge across a major avenue in one of the busiest roadway junctions in Sydney, Australia. Preeti is in the final phase of the project and is planning how to collect requirements from identified stakeholders. Kelly, the project manager, is checking in with Preeti to see if everything is on track or she's facing any challenges or roadblocks. At this stage of the project, how can Kelly best help Preeti move forward with her work? So which task is Preeti involved in?
Phase of the project.
I will say
Planning.
The-
Work requirement.
Says they're in the initial phase of the project.
Yeah, I would think preparing too because of that initial
Mhm.
phase. Yeah.
prepare for elicitation.
And she is planning.
Planning, yeah. So it's
Planning how to collect
Yeah.
requirements from identified stakeholders. So she's in the very first task. So in this very first task, prepare for elicitation, what is the job of the project manager in that task? How can Kelly, the project manager, best help Preeti move forward? So that's going to be 4.1.7. It's going to tell you what the job of the project manager is in that task. I'm going to start reading the answers. The project manager should identify the risk involved in the requirements elicitation activity and create a mitigation and contingency plan. The project manager should work with the sponsor to determine if all relevant stakeholders have been identified before elicitation begins. The project manager should ensure that the appropriate stakeholders and other physical resources are available for elicitation sessions, or the project manager should allocate the funds needed to conduct the business analysis activities properly.
It's
What can we
C.
eliminate?
Oh no. We can eliminate the funds. D. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they better have the funds before the
Yeah.
project. And will they be identifying the risks involved in elicitation and creating a mitigation and contingency plan?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard C as the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say C.
Me
C
too.
is the answer. The project
Page
manager's job in this
61.
is to ensure that the appropriate people and resources are available to conduct the elicitation. Now, you know, in the real world, sometimes project managers don't take on that job,
No, they don't.
but according to the BABOK, that's their job in this task. Help me succeed by go get permission for me to talk to those people, you know. And if you are involved in an organization that does Agile at any type of level, you probably have something called big room planning. Big room planning is when the different teams come together and they say, in February, we need a front-end developer that has these skills, and your team does front-end development. Can you give us a front-end developer for this week? And so they schedule their resources for the different tasks and different teams and different projects that way. It's probably a full 2-day thing with presentations on this is what my project is, and this is what I need, and this is my schedule. It's a different thing. It's a different way the project manager would get those stakeholders and those resources allocated for the business analyst. Which stakeholders participate in confirming elicitation results? So we know what task we're on. Stakeholders with enough authority to approve requirements, the project team, the BA, stakeholders who have participated in elicitation tasks.
Maybe D.
You think D is the correct answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say A.
I agree.
Okay, I hear an A. So tell me, Irina, why you think stakeholders who have participated in elicitation tasks
Because the goal is to ensure that business analysts understood stakeholders correctly and documented everything right, and everyone who contributed should have a chance to take a look and confirm. So that's my understanding of that.
I like your reasoning. Was it Kasi? Did you say it was A?
Yes, I said A because I think at this stage we are comparing the result that was previously collected, and we need stakeholder with approval, to confirm those
Well, that's true.
information.
Is that in the requirements analysis that we haven't done yet, though? Because I
Well,
think the book referred to that.
I think that's a good question.
So approving
There's a whole
requirements-
section, 2 whole sections on requirements.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And approving requirements is a very critical thing, but I don't think that's what we're asking for. We're asking, did we record
It's
the
confirmation.
requirement accurately?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? Did I use the wrong word? Did I get your elicitation proper whenever I documented it so that I can share it with other people?
Right. So I don't think it's at this point they're not getting the approval part yet. I think they're just confirming the results.
Right. Right. So let's test D. 1 of 4 responses. This is the best choice as they could be considered the domain subject matter experts. People who have participated in the elicitation tasks are the people that should say, yes, you got it right, or you need to do better. You have something, Bob?
On B.
You want to do B? The project team would only participate if its members are categorized as domain subject matter experts. That is, they need substantial experience and knowledge.
That also drives me nuts. If you look on 437, page 67, it says domain SMEs, and it also says any stakeholder. And
Does it say any stakeholder who has participated?
Project team could be part of confirming.
I had the
Okay.
same thought as Bob too when I read that.
I understand your challenge to this, but according to the BABOK, stakeholders who have participated in elicitation task is the answer that you need to choose.
Can you click on A?
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's
Click on
not
A.
what the BABOK says. What can
A says the question is about confirming rather than approving.
I get that, but the rules are to mean SMEs and all stakeholders. All stakeholders, not all stakeholders that participated, but all stakeholders.
Okay. I want y'all to ponder Bob's words over this next week, and we'll talk about it more next week, okay? Benita is the business analyst for her organization. Sam is the data analyst who has to sit with Benita for a minute in the cafeteria to give her information he believes relevant to her project. Sam continues by describing seemingly complex data flows. Of the following, which is the next logical step for Benita to take? Before we talk about her next step, what is happening here? What task is she doing?
Conducting a
She's
solicitation.
inadvertently conducting a solicitation
Yeah.
against her will.
She is getting requirements, right? If they're being delivered to her dining room table, and this person is saying, you have to consider this in your project. Now, at this point, she doesn't know if it's complex enough where she's like, I don't know if this really is part of my project. Is this something I should, bring in? So here are the potential answers. Ask Sam to send an email documenting and more thoroughly describing the information to ensure understanding. Refer Sam to the data architect so the information can be included in the designs. Ask Sam to access the requirements documentation in the projects folder, shared folder, and add the data requirements. Or schedule a workshop with relevant stakeholders to construct a data flow diagram. I'm going to tell you up front, what I would do in my real life does not always agree with the BABOK.
Yeah.
So the assumption here is Sam's information needs to be included in the designs. We don't know that yet, do we?
No.
No, not
And
No, we don't.
we would never tell a stakeholder of any sort to jump in the requirements document and add their own stuff to it, right?
No.
No.
We don't do that. So really our only two options are, and you got to choose what the BABOK would say, ask Sam to send an email documenting and more thoroughly describing the information to ensure understanding, or schedule a workshop with relevant stakeholders to construct a data flow diagram. Which one would the BABOK say is the right answer?
Let me see.
Schedule a workshop.
Yeah, schedule a workshop.
Tell me why you think so.
Because that way then because you're doing relevant stakeholders, so you can bring the information to everyone instead of just yourself, the requirements, because what he might be saying.
I would choose A, to be honest, because his thoughts may be not very structured in the cafeteria, and to get more understanding, he should provide first more details to me as analyst, and then I will decide to invite stakeholders or not, or what to do next.
I will tell you, Arena, in the real world, that's exactly what I would do. It's like, I don't want to go talk to somebody and say, I'm going to have this meeting and take up your time without having something to explain to them. But according to the BABOK, we need to
workshop.
I don't see send email. I don't think
unplanned.
send email is a technique. So that's why I chose D. Even though I would love to send it, but I don't think that that's actually a listed technique. I might be wrong, but
I
think any information we get, even if it's data, reading a document, which could be an email, could be considered that. But according to the BABOK, if you get unplanned or just in time, information derived from unplanned or just in time activity might require deeper exploration through planned elicitation activity, which a workshop qualifies. Since information conveyed is complex in nature, it requires additional elicitations to thoroughly understand Sam's information. So in this case, you want to get Sam with people that they can ask him questions, and you're not trying to translate between two people that aren't in the same room. You're all in the same room, hearing the same thing, and they can say, get the architect and the SMEs in there, and they can say, this does not impact this project, or yes, Sam, you're right. Thanks for bringing this to us. Let's incorporate this. And then you know what to do. It's not your job to make all those decisions. It's your job to get the right information from the right people.
Can you click on
a facilitator?
Yes. Click on what, Stephen?
I was just asking, can you click on A? I just wanted to see what
I'm happy to. This is a good second choice answer. The BABOK offers the guidance that the BA information derived, but same thing.
Yeah.
do the questions generally, the answers lean towards verbal communication as opposed to electronic? Is there any type of theme there?
No. Okay. Not on the real test.
Okay.
I mean, It doesn't not, it's just not specified so much. It's Sandy received information that. It's like, I don't know how Sandy received the information, right?
Okay.
Which
It-
document should you reference to understand the forecasted costs and benefits of the proposed solution as part of the preparation for elicitation? So we know we're in the prepare for elicitation task, and it talks about a specific document that's going to give us the forecasted cost and benefits of the proposed solution. Is it the solution scope, the business case, the project management plan, or the business need?
Maybe business case.
That's what I was thinking. It's the business case.
Okay, I've
Is it
got two
close
votes for
second?
business case. Correct. The business case assesses the cost and benefit of a proposed solution, which is what the question was looking for. The BABOK lists estimation as the technique and prepare for elicitation to estimate costs and benefits, and the business case provides those estimates. So this is not only talking about 4.1.6, but it's also talking about the 7th technique, 10.7, and then 0.3, which is going to be estimation.
Cost, benefits, and potential value in whatever is generally associated with business case. That's what
There you
it's for.
Okay, you're mentoring a new business analyst in the communications arena. They are preparing for their role as facilitator for a workshop that will review requirements elicited to date for purposes of communication from source stakeholders. They're using the BABOK as reference for their prep. They come to you asking about business analysis information since the BABOK says they need it as an input, but they have no idea as to what it includes. How do you explain the term to them? So according to the BABOK, business analysis information is, instead of giving them the answer, you try to help them to be more resourceful by advising them to check the glossary and get back to you with any questions. You
You can
explain
throw
to
that
them
one out.
you explain to them that business analysis information means all stated requirements documented to date from the group of stakeholders for review in the workshop. You tell them that business analysis information is a catch-all phrase that basically means any kind of information at any level of detail that is used as an input for or output of business analysis work. Or you explain to them that business analysis information means all of the stated requirements documented to date from the group of stakeholders along with their stated and documented concerns for review in the workshop. So you think we can get rid of number 1?
Yes.
I have a BA friend who says we are empathetic because business analysts are in the people business. We help people. And I'm like, that just flies in the face of it. We can't be,
Yeah.
that's not our answer. Okay, so which one do you think is the right answer according to the BABOK?
C.
Why do we like C?
Because I read it earlier today and I think that's what it said.
Excellent reason. I love that reason. So let's talk about, this talks about stated requirements. This talks about stated requirements and then concerns. This one is everything. That's what business
Everything,
analysis
yeah.
information is. It's everything. It's the trends of the solution, you know, what it has done in the past and how the stakeholder wants their information. It's everything.
Any kind of information, yeah.
Any kind of information. Anything that we can use to either do our job better or provide better information to our stakeholders. You're the business analyst for your organization and you've identified the stakeholders in your organization. As part of this identification, you've identified the stakeholder engagement approach, business analysis information, and business analysis performance assessment. These 3 things. What other input is needed to prepare for the elicitation and collaboration tasks? So you got 3 different inputs here. It wants to know prepare for elicitation and collaboration task, which is all the tasks in this knowledge area. Do you need supporting documentation? Do you need executive sponsor approval? Do you need needs, which is the same as business needs? Or do you need the project charter?
Needs.
The needs.
Yeah, I want
The
to say
needs.
See.
Needs define the problem or opportunity being faced by the business. This information is used to determine the information to be elicited when developing business requirements early in the project life cycle. And it has a picture for you, 4.0.1, just in case you want a picture.
Show
Info-
your flow charts.
I love it. Interviews and interface analysis are techniques used in during which task. So later, whenever we're not only in chapter 4, we're going to get questions like this. You need to be able to say, what knowledge area is this? And then which task is this? So I want to just make you get in that mindset now. I know we're only in chapter 4 in these questions. Interviews and interface analysis are techniques used during which task? Is it prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, prepare documentation, or confirm elicitation? Which ones of these can we eliminate?
Prepared documentation.
Yeah, we can get rid of C.
That's not a task, is it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So which one are these techniques used in?
B.
Conduct, elicitation.
Conduct.
Conduct.
B.
Right. These are stated techniques used to conduct elicitation. I want to check. Confirm elicitation results also uses interviews, but it does not use interface analysis. Whenever I am confirming my elicitation results, very often I'm having a conversation with somebody, which could be called an interview. So be sure that you're looking at both of these together whenever you're looking at how to identify which task you're in. If you just went with interviews, it's like, oh, that leaves the door wide open to many of these. Okay, to several at least.
Just as a side comment, I find it weird they include the interface analysis there. The way I always think about that is how parts of the solution or process that you're analyzing, building, or improving because you modified it, how blocks within that talk to each other. And that's what an interface is. And that's not really what you're doing in here, but learning about interfaces is kind of what the BABOK is saying. I'm doing research and learning about the
Researching,
system.
yeah.
Collecting data, it's all part of it. So that's a little odd, a little confusing. Interviews is really the driving thing that gives it away, because there are a lot of techniques that could go along with interviews.
True, it's true. Let me give you an example of interface analysis at just a really high level. I had a job of managing the rewrite of a laboratory information system. And so I had to figure out what feeds into it. They had the patient orders, the specimens that were coming in, which fields were feeding into it, where it came from, how frequently they received it, what format they got it in, and then it hit the new system we were creating. And then we had to add all the test results to it. And then the interface on the other side was where it went to. It went into insurance companies, life insurance companies specifically, to say this patient that we have the specimen for, that we did these tests for, has these results. And sometimes the results would send it to a secondary or a tertiary test. It's like, oh, they're right on the edge. This insurance company wants another test. So those results would go to the insurance company. Every insurance company had their own different types of record formats. So I had to really work on both sides of the interface analysis. And that's how I'd help define the scope of the project. At what point do we stop and just turn it over to the people responsible for that application?
Yeah, and that includes what information is in the record, the data type of every attribute, the communication medium, the file formats, message formats, physical communication method, data type protocol. There are a ton of things,
including error handling, logging, and
trying.
what tests we're going to be taking. Okay, let's move on. Stephen has conducted a number of elicitation sessions with a group of stakeholders from the mortgage loan department for their requirements as part of a new project. How will Stephen determine when requirements elicitation from the business group is complete? This is straight out of the BABOK and it is not intuitive. You got to know what the BABOK says about this. So he has conducted it. He wants to know when it's complete. So we are in a elicitation. Conducting elicitation. The possible answers: when no new stakeholders are identified in that business group to share their requirements, when the business analysts have validated that all items defined in the scope of elicitation are completed, when all stakeholders from the groups have shared their requirements, or when all stakeholders from the group have shared understanding of the requirements they have provided.
Eliminate D, because it's confirmed elicitation, I think.
Okay. How will Stephen determine requirements elicitation from that business group is complete? What do we think the right answer is?
I will go for B.
Mm-hmm.
You like B?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other votes? Okay, let's test B. B is correct. Defining scope of elicitation allows the business analyst to identify when elicitation activity is complete. Now, this is true. This is exactly what the BABOK says. However, the BABOK also says elicitation can go on throughout the life of the project. You're always going to have to be open to it. Is there another requirement? Is there somebody else I should talk to? You know, have conditions changed? Do I need to update things? So it's important that you keep that open, but knowing your scope of elicitation will save your tails sometimes. Keith is scheduling participants for a workshop associated with highly debated projects with an aggressive timeline. He must ensure he has everyone's buy-in on the session objectives, purpose, and process, as well as give them time to review supporting material. He sees all the stakeholders are available in 2 days, but not again for almost 3 weeks. When should Keith schedule the workshop and why? So he's in prepare for elicitation. He's planning this elicitation, right?
Right. So he's preparing for it.
Okay. So the options are 3 weeks because he needs to give them time to prepare the stakeholders, for the event and give them time to review the supporting materials. 2 days, because if follow-up is needed, he could schedule a second session in 3 weeks. 2 days, because the project has an aggressive timeline which has to be met no matter what. Or 3 weeks to ensure everyone can attend the session.
I would eliminate 3 weeks, A and D, because they will forget in 3 weeks what is going on. I would choose between B and C, and maybe B.
I would say B.
B is better because follow-up in most cases needed, and then it will be in 3 weeks. So, but at least they start in 2 days.
Okay, let's test it. Okay.
3 weeks.
Oh.
This one is a hard one, and you got to read this like 2 sentences in the BABOK to get it. So 3 weeks because he needs time to prepare the stakeholders for the event and give them time to review the supporting materials. By taking time to ensure buy-in, which is critical, the workshop will have more engaged participants. In addition, participants will have time to review the supporting materials in advance of the workshop. 2 days. This is what I would do in real life.
Yeah.
You know, I would go and have intense conversations with each one of them if that's what it took to get them ready for the workshop. But 2 days is not enough time to prepare stakeholders to fully engage in a workshop for a highly debated project. If participants haven't bought in to the project, they may be unresponsive or challenging during the workshop.
Mm.
So the BABOK says this is the best answer.
3 weeks.
9 women cannot have a baby in a month.
That is a true thing. If anybody has looked at the old PMBOK, it actually says that. It's like, no, you can't push it. It just doesn't work that way.
I definitely would not have thought A, because in my case, I don't know who's going to review that in then 3 weeks, but
Right.
Okay.
But
That's
but I
yeah.
definitely didn't think it was that one.
I wouldn't give it to them now, though. I would give it to them in 2 weeks so
Yeah.
that it's fresh, or give it to them now and then hit them again in 2 weeks. Hey, our meeting's in
Yes.
a week
Reminder. Yeah.
as
Yes.
a reminder.
Well, if they have to have time to review it, and especially if it's hotly debated, that means there's going to be politics and people having to have side conversations and people making deals with each other so that they, it's like, if you support this, I'll support the trip to the golf course next week, that kind of stuff. The important conversations. But look at 4.1.4.5 if you have questions.
Yeah. I highlighted it.
Stacy is a business systems analyst assigned to a new management reporting initiative. Stacy has noted that a few of the current managers are a bit reluctant to make any change in the existing management reports and may not be cooperative while sharing their requirements about the management of reports. What should Stacy do to manage those reluctant stakeholders? So she's already knows that they're reluctant. It doesn't mean that she started elicitation. She's at least in the preparing for elicitation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say preparing.
Okay. Stacy should discuss the matter with the project manager and seek his or her help to sort it out. Stacy should take actions to prepare the stakeholders for the change initiatives and ensure their buy-in. As stakeholders from the senior management team, Stacy should discuss the matter with the sponsor and seek his or her help to sort it out. Stacy should explore lessons learned documents from the previous projects to find solution from experience of similar situations in any past project. Can we eliminate any?
B, because prepare the stakeholders for a change initiative and ensure their buy-in.
Is that what we're eliminating? Or are you choosing that one?
No, I'm not choosing that one. Stacy
Okay.
should take actions to prepare the stakeholders for the change initiative and ensure. Well, it could be. I read it wrong the first time, so thanks for
Okay.
highlighting it.
I would go with B. I would probably
You like-
eliminate B. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I like B. I think.
Okay. I've got.
Yeah, I think you'd want to try and work with the stakeholders first before you bring it
Tell
to the
'em.
management team. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about why you don't like D.
It's pretty specific. It's a pretty specific issue. I don't know. I mean, would lesson learned that it might tell you if it's a specific person, the same person again, how to deal with them. But regardless,
Right.
you work with them. I don't know that would give you the best information. It could
Let's
tell you
test
what
B.
not to do.
Let's see what we get.
There's
In preparing for elicitation, the business analyst should ensure that there is buy-in from all necessary stakeholders. If you were to look at lessons learned documents, I don't know that you would get what you need. This one says it's partially correct. Stacy may follow this approach to learn about stakeholder management, but ultimately she still has to take necessary actions to sort out the issue.
Yeah.
So according to the
B is
BABOK, B is the best answer. Very
They
good.
generally tell you in management situations to act on your own authority as much as possible and not bring in PMs and sponsors unless you need to. So try to sort it out on your own first and only
first.
bring in
Yeah.
help when it's needed.
Very good. In order to conduct a elicitation, so we know what task, what guidelines and tools will you need? So what are the guidelines and tools for the conduct elicitation task? Is it business analysis approach, elicitation activity plan, stakeholder engagement approach, and supporting materials? Elicitation activity plan, existing business analysis information, stakeholder engagement approach, and supporting materials. Business analysis approach, existing business analysis information, stakeholder engagement approach, and the elicitation activity plan. Or is it business analysis approach, existing business analysis information, stakeholder engagement approach, and supporting materials?
D.
Say D.
Did I hear two B's?
No, D as in dog.
D.
D is in dog. Okay, let's test it. This is the correct list of guidelines and tools for the task conduct elicitation. Very good. You guys are really doing well tonight. Okay, Sheila has been working on a project to upgrade a cross-border money transfer system due to new regulations. For this project, Sheila will need to collaborate with a number of government officials to understand the relevant parts of the new regulation, its scope, any exceptions, penalty limits for noncompliance, and other relevant information in a given context. Which of the following is not an activity that would help prepare government stakeholders for the requirements elicitation session? So she's preparing them for this session. So she's still in the prepare, right?
Yep.
She hasn't started elicitation. Sheila should send out a meeting agenda to relevant stakeholders well before the elicitation session. Sheila should explore any relevant supporting documents available in the organization and determine what to collect from stakeholders. Sheila should share any relevant supporting documents to the stakeholders before the requirements solicitation session, or Sheila should educate the stakeholders on any elicitation techniques they are unfamiliar with that will be used in the elicitation session. The BABOK actually says, before you start something, especially if it's people that are maybe not of the same culture as you, or maybe they're not familiar with your techniques. So which one should it be?
So this is not, they're asking what's not an activity, right? So 3 of these is right and one's
Which is
wrong.
not an activity that would help you prepare them for the session. So 3 of them will help you, 1 of them will not.
Help prepare them.
Or tell me which ones will help and we can eliminate.
Well, the meeting agenda
helps.
is good. Would I mean,
Okay.
sending out a meeting agenda would help.
Okay.
I think B's the correct answer here. Because that's going to help her, but it's not going to help them.
I think that's a
It's
really
not going to
good.
help prepare them.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
sharing-
D is actually called out as something you should do.
Right.
It is.
So that would, because we're looking for
So
what's
that
not an,
means
yeah.
B and C.
Right. So A, C, and D are called out as things that you should do,
Right.
especially if you think they might not be familiar. Although it's a good idea for Sheila to review relevant supporting documentation and determine what to collect from stakeholders, this will help Sheila, but not help the stakeholders. So, very good. Y'all are on top of it. According to the BABOK, which of the following are the tasks listed in the elicitation and collaboration knowledge area? Are they prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and manage stakeholder collaboration? Prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and facilitate stakeholder engagement. Prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, document elicitation, and communicate business analysis information. Or prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and verify the outcomes of the solution.
A.
I'm just going to
I
ask
see.
you, which
A.
one is the right one?
A.
A.
This is
You
the correct
can
list of the
also
5 elicitation and collaboration tasks. Yes, Bob.
the first 3 or 4 items of every option are the same or close to it. So
Mhm.
if you can see the patterns like that, something that's included in all the options, you can ignore that and focus on the more limited information that is the actual question.
There are several times we're going to hit questions like this that it's like, I've got 4 paragraphs to read and you got to figure out what's the difference in them. So just look for the differences, ignore the rest of it. I've got to read it all because on the test, you're going to see a whole thing like that. But
Right.
looking for the differences tells you how to compare them instead of trying to find, doing the whole block of text. Which techniques would work best to confirm your elicitation results? So we're going to confirm elicitation, document analysis, interviews, process modeling workshops, document analysis, interviews, reviews, process modeling, document analysis, interviews, reviews, requirements modeling, or document analysis, interviews, reviews, and workshops. To confirm your elicitation results, can we eliminate any of these?
I think we can eliminate B because of process modeling. Oh, and A.
Yeah, eliminate A.
So maybe right is C.
I would say D is correct. I think you can eliminate because of requirements model.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
go with D too.
I think it's D as well.
D.
Okay. So we like document analysis, interviews, reviews, and workshops.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's to confirm the
Because do we know what a requirements model is? Let's test it. These are the stated techniques for confirming elicitation results.
Yeah.
Requirements
It's
model
in,
Requirement model is an
artifact,
artifact.
yeah,
not
not
a
a
technique.
technique.
And nobody loves process modeling more than me, but that's, go with what the book said. I've
Go with what-
never met almost any problem, including in my marriages, that couldn't be addressed by a good process model, but you see how well that worked out.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? Oh, my husband had hip replacement on Monday, and I'm having to write down when I give him which medicines because I can't keep it in my head. It's like I don't know how long ago things were and stuff. I'm going to create a process model to document his medicine.
Nice to know I'm not the only one that drives my family crazy.
It's going to be a swim lane diagram because I like those
Yeah.
tests. Okay. A process of 2 or more people or organizations working together toward a common goal. Here's a definition in here. Is the
Yeah.
definition of which of the following terms? Is it elicitation, collaboration, compromise, or conflict resolution?
B.
B.
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
Collaboration is the act of 2 or more people working together toward a common goal.
Go
Before
with
most
the
people-
slam dunk.
Yeah.
Please hit them.
Before
Answer
most of you
movie.
were born, there was this little drawing cartoon that I saw that had 2 people rowing a boat. Each one was on their own side, but they were not rowing in the same direction. That was like the beginning of the concept of collaboration for me. It's like, let's all row the boat in the same direction toward the same goal. I still like that picture. now I found round boats with people all around the outside. It makes it crazy. Which of the following activities applies the least to requirements, solicitation, and collaboration? So the hold knowledge area,
List. Okay.
the activity that applies the least. Developing a risk register, installing new off-the-shelf software, monitoring stakeholder engagement, or a small enhancement to an existing system. Now I'm going to tell you that when it says the least, it may apply to all of these, but 3 of them it applies to a whole lot more than the other one.
Maybe monitoring stakeholder engagement.
I was gonna say C, yeah, monitoring stakeholder engagement.
I was going to
as
say
well.
A.
Developing a the least
Yeah,
requirement.
because stakeholder engagement is a portion of it's the collaboration.
But yeah, risk register it's a collaboration to develop a risk register.
Right?
I will go with 8 as well.
Okay, let's test A. Although the BA will contribute to the project's risk register regarding business analysis activities, elicitation, and collaboration focuses more on drawing information from and collaborating, engaging with relevant stakeholders. Of all of these responses, this is the most relevant. I should say least relevant, but we get it. So installing new off-the-shelf software, there's a whole lot of elicitation and collaboration there. Monitoring stakeholder engagement, that's what we're doing. And then a small enhancement to an existing system, we still, that's all collaboration and elicitation. What does a business analyst deliver when communicating business analysis information? So communicating, what task are we in?
The communication, yeah.
Yep, it's called communicate business analysis information.
Mhm.
Is it, so what do they deliver? So that means it's going to be the output of that task. It may be also, or instead the output, it may be one of the things that are elements that creates it. So is it business analysis information planned, business analysis information communicated, functional and non-functional stated requirements, or unstated and stated requirements?
I would go with B.
B,
Mhm.
like boy.
It's in a question. Just
It's in there. Sometimes it's that easy. This is the stated output for the task. Communicate business analysis information.
It kind of answers it in the question, but yeah.
Yeah. There's a task that's later on in the BABOK that the output is the same name as the task name. And it fries my brain every time. It's like, am I seeing things? But it's true. Okay, Robert, this is all about you, sir. Robert is a business analyst who is working on a project to develop new features for an existing clothes washing machine in Southeast Asia. As Robert is new to this market space, he is unaware of the current customer choices about washing machines in this new market, or how he could bring more value or benefit to customers by developing new features in the washing machine. To get started, Robert is preparing to elicit requirements with relevant stakeholders who are familiar with this market space. For his first solicitation stakeholder group, he has identified store managers who sell appliances in multiple cities in Indonesia. He wants to elicit high-level requirements quickly and get an overall understanding of key requirements, then follow through with the elicitation of more detailed requirements from people who have recently purchased a washing machine. What technique should Robert select to get a quick list of high-level requirements from the store managers? So he is in preparing for elicitation.
Yep.
And the techniques possible are focus group, interviews, survey, or virtual requirements workshop. What can we eliminate?
maybe virtual requirements workshop.
He could have a requirements workshop virtually. This is just a name for it, though.
I want to say the answer is C because it says Yeah, he needs to get a quick list of high-level requirements, which I would think out of all four of those, that would be the quickest.
Yeah, I would say the survey one because it's the
I would say B.
B, I would say interview. Yeah.
Survey,
Wow.
because these people are distributed. This is an appropriate approach to elicit information about customers, products, and high-level requirements from a group of people in a structured way in a relatively short period of time. There are two techniques in the BABOK that it consistently talks about quick. One is surveys and one is brainstorming. Surveys has some really detrimental things against it. So you need to read about surveys so that you understand those limitations.
Can you
But,
please check interviews in the previous B and D? I just want to understand what is wrong with
Fine.
it. Interviews
Interviews are
compared
time
to
consuming.
Mhm.
So it's the time factor here.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Time consuming.
in
And D?
should be the
every
same as the virtual
knowledge,
workshop.
like
Yeah.
Thea said, surveys
Workshops
is
are
about
time
getting
consuming.
a lot
Mhm.
quick.
Okay.
And they also may not capture ideas and thoughts from the more introverted of the group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
good
they might not
facilitator
speak up.
understands how to do that. But in this particular situation, Indonesia, I've run the same type of a study group for the Philippines, getting them to just answer the questions. We would literally sit there for 3 minutes and just wait. They wouldn't even put anything in the text. It's a cultural thing. You got, sometimes you just got to work with them the way they are. There are 5 types of elicitation and collaboration tasks that business analysts must complete as part of their roles and responsibilities. 5 types of elicitation and collaboration tasks. Is that the 5 tasks? Looks like it. Which one of the following is not a task that the business analyst may complete as part of their roles and responsibilities in this knowledge area? Conduct elicitation, engage stakeholders, communicate business analysis information, or prepare for elicitation.
Engage stakeholders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a stated task for the elicitation and collaboration knowledge area. The tasks are prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and manage stakeholder collaboration.
Not engage, but in manage. Okay.
Right. We do engage the stakeholders, but it's not a stated task. Which of the following statements is not true regarding collaboration? So collaboration, this is kind of a high level, not specific to a task. It's kind of the whole knowledge area. Collaboration promotes a shared effort to resolve problems. Collaboration encourages the free flow of information and ideas. Collaboration involves communication on an as-needed basis, or collaboration involves regular, frequent, and bi-directional communication. Which one is not true?
C.
I think I heard C.
Yeah, I say C too.
Okay.
C is in Charlie.
Yep.
Let's test it. This is not a stated descriptor of the collaboration element, which infers that these statements are true regarding collaboration. Collaboration promotes a shared effort to resolve problems. Collaboration encourages the free flow of information and ideas, and collaboration involves regular, frequent, and bi-directional communication. Okay, you have been working on your project for 6 months and have just finished eliciting all your requirements. A review is scheduled in 2 weeks to ensure you have a solid understanding of your stakeholders' requirements before they are baselined. What do you have at this point as input into the review? So you've been eliciting. You've confirmed. Let's see. What do you have as input? You have stakeholders' concerns. You have unconfirmed elicitation results. You have confirmed elicitation results, or you have specified and modeled requirements. Doesn't say in here you have confirmed yet, does it?
No, it doesn't. I would say it's
Yeah.
unconfirmed B.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think if we are meeting in 2 weeks, probably to confirm it too. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say B as well. Yeah.
At the end of elicitation activities, the BA has unconfirmed elicitation results. Very good. Y'all are doing so well. Okay, viewing results, 96%. Guys, this is your first day. Look at this. I am stunned and bemused.
The interesting thing is almost all the questions were from the early test.
Yeah, we're
So,
from the
you know,
beginning part of it.
hopefully we'll exercise the later tests in next week.
Let's talk about this. We can go through it again next week and hopefully get some more of the later tasks. Or we can walk through the later tasks, just talking through them, whichever you prefer. I don't want to say that we're going to go through it again next week and we will get later tasks. I don't have any control over that. And we just saw that a lot of these were from the earlier tasks. So I want you to finish reading chapter 4. Please look at those techniques that I gave you in relation to the task in chapter 4. And look up any words in the glossary that you aren't positive that you understand, and anything that you marked today that you need to bone up on. Y'all want to go through chapter 4 again next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be great.
I think
Okay. I mean, we've only gone through it once, and this is a phenomenal score. You obviously understand the concepts. There's little details that you're not getting yet, but I think that's just because you haven't had a lot of time to study. So let's take another week to study it and really get strong on it, because then we'll move into chapter 5. Chapter 5 is harder than chapter 4. It's easier than chapters 6, 7, and 8, though. So we're going to just be ramping up. I want you to get a good solid understanding of chapter 4 before we start 5.
sounds
Do
good.
y'all have any questions about chapter 4?
Can we go back to the previous question?
I think we can. Let's see.
No, I think we'd have to start over
history.
again.
No, I think I can go back.
Okay.
And we are going to let's go. I think I can do it this way. Nope, that's not the right way to do it. Show all explanations, and I'm just going to go through. You want to go number 25, right, Stephen?
Yeah, in the chat, China asked to click on A.
Okay. I'm getting there. And clicking on A. Show all explanations. So A would be, you may have a list of stakeholders' concerns, but the question is asking about requirements. At the end of elicitation activities, the BA has unconfirmed elicitation results. Does that make sense?
And the fact that they said they finished eliciting all the requirements, so that's the next step, is the unconfirmed.
Yeah, you need to go through a confirmation process. My favorite way to confirm requirements is workshops, getting people from multiple groups together. That way they can hear each other, and sometimes they'll uncover things that we haven't even talked about because it didn't occur to them that I was going to need to know that, or that it will come up that they're using the same word differently. I one time pulled 4 different groups together because they all had warranties and they all had different processes for their warranty. And it's like, why does everybody use a different process for their warranty? And I pulled them together, and it took me about 15 minutes to go, wait a minute, when you say warranty, what do you mean? And they started to answer me, and somebody started correcting them from another group. And it was like, oh, but within 20 minutes of the meeting beginning, we realized every single department used the word warranty to mean totally different things. It was time to leave the meeting. We could not align our processes because they didn't mean the same thing. But that realization was like, maybe we need to change our verbiage though, you know. Anyway, that's why I like workshops the most. Okay, let's look at the wonderful spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to make the following observation. The main knowledge areas in the BABOK give you a set of techniques or kind of approaches that roughly go in order that you'd work through them in a project. But I always felt that they were don't give a real clear idea of what you do during a project. So I ended up creating a framework that matches but actually is a little more clear about what you're doing. So it's define the problem, figure out what's going on, figure out what you need, that's requirements, then do a design, then implement, then test. And they're all iterative within each phase, and you also iterate between phases. And it turns out that you can map those phases versus the knowledge areas in the BABOK, and they kind of go like that, right? As you would expect. However, I find the BABOK stuff to be kind of fuzzy because in reality, you do elicitation in a lot of different phases. And it's not real clear why you do stuff. Now, as Thea has told me many times, the IIBA people have a fetish for not being explicit or not telling you how to do anything. It's they desire to leave everything open-ended. And but I think some of the skills, and they're all correct, they sometimes lack context. So hopefully you won't mind if I try to inject some context that may make things a little more clear for you. Because in reality, you will do elicitation during design, implementation, testing, requirements, finding out what's going on, and even deciding what their problem is in the first place. It's not some limited little thing that you do at the beginning or somewhere near the beginning. Hopefully that makes sense to you, or it will make more sense in a few weeks or months. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Bob. Again, those of you who have not gone to Bob's website and at least just look around, there's such good stuff there. I encourage
Is that
you
in
to
the chat? His website?
you know what? I'll
Can
put it in
can
the
it be in
chat.
the chat? Thank
Yeah.
you.
There you go. rpchurchill.com. I've typed that so many times that my cursor, I've got muscle memory in my fingers. I don't have to think about it.
If you have any questions or would like to be pointed to specific things that may be more helpful, there's 500,000 words of content there. Might be overwhelming, but let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them.
I realized we were coming up to the end, but I'm going to tell you one of my very favorite things on his website is this. Bob did a simulation of traffic flow through border crossings. And that means people coming in buses, people coming in by foot, people coming in cars, people that have to be that can go through quickly, people that have to go through certain steps, people that get sent back, all the different things, but he created it himself. Did you do that in Python, Bob?
No, well, we did a tool to analyze all the border crossings on both sides of the US and Canadian and Mexican borders, and even the southern Mexico border with Guatemala and whatever.
How many of us have encountered?
So he created a simulation so he could say, so in these conditions, what would the outcome be? In these conditions, what would the outcome be? Things that we would never be able to guess. You know, he was able to create simulations with the different conditions.
It was a team effort, but I did simulation for 30 years or more, and that's the basis of the way I think about all this stuff.
So there's a wealth of information there. Okay.
I just have one question before you go, and it could be
Yes,
Michelle.
Michelle.
I'm not answering this till next week. But I was curious. There was a question we had in the test, and I want to say it was about like possibly like positive stakeholders, or I don't know if anybody remembers, in the lessons learned. If someone probably doesn't have a positive attitude about something, doesn't like change, how would you like? Is there like a symbol that the BABOK says, like put this on it so you know it's a mean person? There is somebody, not really, but there is somebody that I deal with who can be kind of very like hates every possible idea that comes out.
Okay.
You can't satisfy her at all. And it's like sometimes I want to give like the other people in the room the eye, like, all right, she's the difficult one. But
this is a standard that you would use in your core team only. Here's your proposed change. These are the people that are for it. These are the people that are against it. It's called a force field analysis. And this is not something you're going to ever share outside of your core team. But it's like, okay, let's take inventory. You know these people better than I do, especially if I'm a contractor coming in. Is this person for it? Are they against it? If they're for it, you want to know why they're for it. If they're against it, why do you think they're against it? Knowing that is the key to being able to say, let's give them information they don't have. Let's help them understand the situation better. Let's help them see how doing this thing is going to help them meet their goals. Or do they have a fear that we need to work with? You're not ever going to get everybody always on the for side. There's always going to be somebody that's a little resistant. You know the term early adopter and laggard, right? Early adopters are the people that, yes, I love change. Let's do something different. They love change. They're going to be the first one to adopt the new technology. They're going to be the first one with the electric cars. I mean, those are the early adopters. It's like, it's part of their personality. Then there are people that are called laggards, which are the opposite of early adopters. They don't want change. In fact, they kind of resist you from even thinking about there should be a change, especially if it steps on their toes, right? Don't bring change into my department. I don't even want my screens to change. But if you can identify who they are, and this is just a graphical way to do it, you are able to have something tangible to work with. I will tell you that my very first experience that I knew I was doing business analysis, we didn't have the term then, it hadn't been created. I was working at the Executive Consumer Services Department at Sprint. They're the people that all the FCC, the BBB, and the executive complaints came into. And these people had to write perfect letters in response to these complaints. They used electric typewriters. It was the best they had. And I had been in high school not long before that, and I said, let's get computers. And they're like, we don't know how to use computers. And it's like, I can create a template. So you just plug in the information. The letter is perfect. It's easy to print. It's great. There were people that loved it. They were early adopters. They were on board. They were in the first training session. That was great. I had people that got very angry at me. I will never touch a computer. I'm retiring in 2 years. You will not make me touch a computer. They were angry. And I'm like, okay, you know, you can't make them, right? Until they realized that they would be measured at the same rate as the people that were on the computers. So instead of 3 perfect letters a day, now they had to do 10 perfect letters a day. They came to my desk and went, would you teach one more training class? I'm happy to.
20,000 such people were just issued from HHS yesterday for similar reasons.
So you've got a force field analysis that's what this is, and understand early adopters and laggards. There's one in the middle, but it doesn't matter. You know, the people that they love change are early adopters. The people that hate change are laggards. Don't say it out loud because it sounds like you're, cursing at them or something. There's also people that have risk tolerance. People that love change, typically they like risk. It's fun, it's exciting, it's wonderful. Let's see what happens. They're usually the people that are the agile adopters, maybe agile coaches. They love it. Let's see what happens. Let's test it. There's people that have no risk tolerance. They don't want change. People that are in banking and insurance typically are very, very conservative. They have a very low risk tolerance. So I'm giving you a whole lot of new terms potentially. They all kind of mean the same thing. Okay. Does that help, Michelle?
Thank you. Yeah, it does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. How do y'all feel about chapter 4? Mostly good, but not perfect yet?
Mostly
Yeah, I
good.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Review it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, I'm going to tell you that you understand the technique that we're using. You understand, identify the task, identify the knowledge area, identify the task, eliminate the things that you can, and then figure out which one is the best answer according to the BABOK. Your own experience doesn't matter right now. It's according to the BABOK. You work in the BABOK company, you got to do it the way they want you to do it. So you're getting the right answers mostly. And those that you're not getting the right answer, I can see, I know the sentence that it's like, you just didn't read that one. You didn't retain that one sentence. You're going to get it. You just got to read it again. Okay?
Yep.
Will do.
All right. So my task for this week is to go and beat on Watermark's door and say, send them the book and try to get it out. Your task for this week is to review chapter 4 and review the techniques that go along with it and take care of any concern in your own mind of, do I have this? Do I have a pretty firm grasp of it? I don't expect it to be perfect yet because as we continue, you're going to keep building on it. If you feel like you've mastered chapter 4 enough, go ahead and read chapter 5. The task, the techniques that are associated with chapter 5 are here in this list. Chapter 5, there's only 4 techniques there. So if you're ready, take a gander, okay? We'll see you back here in 1 week for chapter 4 again. Do y'all want me to read off these techniques?
I don't think so. You gave us the
Yeah, you gave us.
the spreadsheet.
Yeah, you got the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just these 4. In 2 weeks, I think, Howard is coming to talk about story mapping. And so it's using your user stories, your features and stuff, and mapping your stories on a wall with your coworkers. And then he's going to talk about prioritization. He is awesome. It's stunning to watch him. He is a best-selling author in this area. And so he's going to bring the technique and demonstrate it for you and talk about the importance, the method. So we're going to be hitting prioritization at just the right time with him. Okay.
What's his name? You said Howard?
Howard Pudiswa. Let me see if I can pull up that. It's here it is. I'm dropping it in the chat.
Thank you.
Hodeswa. I don't know how to say it. He's a very, very, very nice man, and I'm looking forward to him coming to talk to us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Happy Thursday evening. I will see you next Thursday. Next Thursday during the other meeting, the meeting before this one, we're going to have recruiters in to talk about what is the job market? What are the changes? What skills do we need to be developing as business analysts to be ready for jobs that are on the horizon? And how do we best prepare ourselves or position ourselves so that we can easily be placed? And what things do we avoid? What mistakes are they seeing? So I'm looking forward to that. I've got recruiters, one from Canada, 2 from Mid-America, and 1 from Dallas. So kind of a smattering all over the country of 4 different companies. So they're going to come and let us ask them questions. Okay.
And that's
If you
during the
can
next
let people
meeting?
know about that. I'm sorry, Stephen, say that again.
And that's during the next
Yeah.
IBA meeting?
The next general meeting, the one that occurs right before this meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You guys are my favorites. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a good
week.
night.
Thank you.
Next week.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.